Let me give you one more example of running through chords. Let's go in the key of E flat, and I'll do another 2-5-1 change. All right, our first chord, you have a D, A, F in your right hand, A, C, E, G. That might take a little work. Or you could take your F and put in your left hand. So you can do D, A, F, A in your right hand, C, E, G. So D minor 11, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Second chord, you have G, D, F, B, E flat, G, B flat. That's a G sharp, G7 sharp 5, sharp 9. All right. Then you have a C minor 11, C, G, E flat. In my right hand I have G, B flat, D, F. All right. There's a little pattern that I do that I will share. All right, let me go over that slow. E, E flat, D, C. And I jump to G, G, G flat, F, E, C, B, B flat, A. And then I start the pattern over again. I'm using the same 4 fingers. Third finger on G, second finger on G flat, fourth finger on F, and the thumb is on E. All right, so all right, when I go to my G, sharp 5, sharp 9. There's a little scale that I play with that. G, A flat, B flat, B, D flat, E flat, F on the thumb, G, A flat, B flat, and it starts again. All right. So the question becomes, how do you connect those two? Where are they common? They're common on E, on G and F. I'll do it again. And what I'm doing in that scale is I'm just going back and forth. When I get to B, I go back down to G. When I get to F, I go back down to B. Then I go up to B flat, F, E flat, B, B flat. And stylistic, you can do it wherever you choose. So the pattern is All right. I'm playing at the top of my F sharp. Then I'm playing my scale. So let me try it in real time. The only thing I'm doing is manipulating the C minor scale. And when you do your changes, you can decide where they start and where they end. So these are just tools and just guides so that you can make these your own. Well, while we're sharing secrets, I want to go over what some people call somebody played a crazy chord or they did something that was sick. Most times those are substitutions. And what I mean by substitution is that you take one chord and you substitute it for another, or you take one note and you substitute it for something else. There's several substitution examples that I can give you. Let's go back to our concert key A flat. Let's talk about, let's say, amazing. All right. We've already gone over that song and where it goes. So let's do some substitutions. All right. Here we go. Now, all I did was I replaced some of the notes in the bass with notes that fit in the chord. And let me explain that. So our pattern for Amazing Grace was and let me show you the first substitution I did. I substituted C for A flat, because since it's an A flat chord, you can sometimes get away with substituting one of the properties of the chord. And the properties of an A flat chord are A flat, C, and E flat. So I'll do it again. So my A flat is still here instead of here. But because the bass sounds different, it sounds like a different chord. Let me explain that substitution for you. On How Sweet the Sound. All right. Instead of I substituted an F sharp because it's in the chord. And I substituted that with an F. So you have, let's do the first one. All right, let's do what we've done so far. Substitution. All right, and that's a simple substitution just of substituting the bass notes. All right. Here's a chord, F sharp. I'm sorry, G flat, D flat, B flat, D flat, G flat, B flat. F, D flat, A flat, D flat, F, A flat again. Here's the second change, actually the third one. D flat, A flat, F, A flat, D flat, F. Same as the chord, we just add a C on the bottom. C, A flat, E flat, A flat, C, E flat. All right, let's do it again. All right, and the next change would be an F minor chord, F, C, F, C, F, A flat. B flat 9, B flat, F, A flat, D, F, A flat, C. It'll be an E flat chord. E flat, G, B flat, E flat, G, B flat, E flat. All right? Let's do it normally. All right? Let's do some substitutions. All right. Let's do a new substitution. All right. So instead of a straight F minor chord, I left the bass alone. But instead of F minor, I substituted for F minor 7. All right. F, C, E flat, A flat, C, E flat, F, A flat. But also what I did was I moved my first 3 notes down a half step. And my thumb. So let me give you that. F, D, A flat, B, D, E, G. All right. And I just approached this from a half step. So I substituted the chord for a half step down. All right. Let's do that whole thing. Let's do it regular. All right, let's do some substitutions. All right, let's do something a little more complicated. Okay, let me explain this one slowly. Here's a melody line. And here's the bass that matches with it. So I actually did 2 substitutions there. Instead of A flat, I substituted it for a C. Instead of. And before I show you this chord, let me show you how I got to the C. I got to the C through a 2-5-1. So in order to get to a C, I played the 2-5-1 so that you understand the thinking behind making substitutions. All right. That's my first chord. D, A, F, C, E, G, C. My second chord, G, D, F, B, E, A, D flat. My third chord is C, G, E, D flat, G flat, B flat, E flat. Regularly it's and I did. And then here's another substitution. It's called a pedal tone, where you play the chords over one bass note. So all right. A flat. I'm sorry, let me show you that first chord. A flat, G flat, C, F, A, C. And then we move to A flat, F sharp, D flat, G flat, B flat. The same D flat chord, except it's over A flat. B flat minor chord, over A flat, and an A flat chord. So I'll do it again. All right, and then we can go back to our old change that we did for the F minor. So let's do the whole thing. I'm sorry. Let's get this chord. B flat, A flat, D flat, E, A flat, D flat. Let me point out something else. When we look at this chord, sometimes in your practice time, take time out to really look at what you're playing and see what you see inside of the music. Let me give you an example. In this chord, I see a C sharp minor. Or D flat minor. D flat, A flat, E. So because I see that, I can play off of that. All over B flat. All right? All right? And I'm just running C sharp. playing E flat over A flat. So E flat chord and A flat. So let me play the whole thing with substitutions. Sometimes in our substitutions, we keep nothing but the melody line. And I think what'll help in playing or switching songs around or doing whatever your creative mind tells you to do with the song is to keep the melody line. And a lot of times, if you can keep the melody line, the song you're playing will always be recognizable. And since piano a lot of times is a lead instrument, it's your responsibility to keep the lead line so that singers or whoever, or the melody line, so whoever is operating in ministry or in song will have a guideline to go by. Sometimes we do what's called re-harmonization, and we substitute the bass and we substitute the chords and everything for something different. So let me give you an example of that in the opening song that I played. Here we go. I'll do it again. Let me do that again. So we're doing, here's the melody line. Why should my heart be lonely? I haven't changed that at all. All right. But I do want to follow something that takes me from here to there. The actual line is, why should my heart be lonely? So a lot of times with re-harmonization, you really have to sit down and give some of this stuff a lot of time. And in order to come up with re-harmonizations, it's best to do it one step at a time. So let's just do step one. Step one is to know what the real change is. So we have C minor, melody line, F, A, C, F, lonely, B flat, F, C, E flat, you hold on to the F, and you finish out the B flat minor chord. Our first chord is a C minor 7. And what I want to do is I want to move with that melody line. Move, move, move. I don't like that, so I want to do a substitution. So I'll substitute the F, since it's an A chord, with an A. But even that, to me, still sounds very simple. So what I'll do is I'll add an F sharp to add some tension to the harmony. You have those notes that create what's called dissonance. You have notes close together. So instead of doing that, I want this chord to be pronounced. So I add just a little bit of dissonance. So I have now, why should my heart be lonely? But I still want to move my harmony. And I just chose to move it chromatically. Why should my heart be lonely? All right. Why should, and I chose B major, B, G flat, B flat, E flat, G flat, B flat, D flat. All right, why should my heart? I still want to move that other one. So let's go back. Why should, and I don't want to play the same chord. I don't want to play that. So I'll change it. Why should, instead of it being major, this is B major, I'll make this minor. Why should my, this is a B flat minor 9, B flat, F, C, D flat, F, A flat, C. So why should my heart be and I want tension there to pronounce my chord. So why should my heart be, and instead of doing it parallel, I'm doing harmony. And then I create tension here with the B and the C. So why should my heart be lonely? And I move those at different times so you can feel the tension in it. This is the same time. All right. So why should my heart be lonely? I'll do it in real time. Why should my heart be lonely? All right. Now, with why should my heart didn't necessarily have to be that way. I can change should my heart, and I can approach it from 2-5-1. So why? We keep our same C minor 7. All right. Should my heart, and I'll show you what I did. The bass is C, and I'm trying to get to A, so we use 2-5-1. B, E, A. Why should my, E is your bass. I'm sorry, D, A flat, D, G, C. So let's try that. Why should my heart feel lonely? All right, and I also didn't have to, let's go back to the first one. Why should my heart? I did the B major and the B flat minor. I can flip it. C minor, why should my heart? So let's do that in real time to see what it sounds like. Those chords are a lot closer together. And you can choose either one that you want. I did them both minor. Why should B, G flat, A, D, G flat, A, D flat, my, and I just moved everything down a half step. B flat, F, A flat, C, D flat, F, A flat, C. Why should my heart? Let me take it somewhere else. I might want to go just from why should my heart, which is a B7 flat 5. Why should my heart? And what I'm doing is I'm changing my bass line. I'm leaving my melody line the same. I'm changing my bass line, and I'm making my chords fit whatever I change it to. Why should my heart feel lonely? All right. So if I'm going to approach that from a 2-5-1, why should my heart feel lonely? All right. And I'm just showing you how I think through changes. I'll try several changes and I'll do whatever fits best for me. So let's try that one. Why should my heart? And that chord is B, G flat, A flat, D flat, F. All right. Why should my heart? But I want everything to move together. Why should my heart? I'll do it regular time. Why should my heart? And that sounds kind of big to me, and those movements are not subtle. So to me, the song is not pretty anymore. It's not, it's different. Why should my heart? But I'll show you the changes anyway. Why should, and I'm keeping my melody line. D flat, B flat, B, E flat, G flat, B flat, D flat. Should my, G flat 7 flat 5, G flat, E, B flat, E flat, A flat, C. So you might like this one better. Why should my heart feel lonely? All right, so those are just some of the reharmonization tools that we can use. You can almost pick any melody line and reharmonize it depending on where you wanted to go and how you wanted to get from point A to point B. So we got from C to A by going chromatically. We also tried it going from a 2-5-1, and then we tried C to B by 2-5-1. So we did C, D flat, G flat, B. So there are several ways that you can try, and you don't necessarily have to try that phrase. You might take another phrase and try to reharmonize it. So in your practice time, when you're thinking about these things, these are just some tools to help you to kind of reharmonize it and rethink it and restructure how you want it to be so you can develop your own personal style. Let's talk about flow again. When we did the arpeggios and when we did the independence thing, there's a certain flow that you have to have so everything sounds like one piece. A lot of times you'll hear certain melodies played or certain lines or certain little themes that are played, and we sometimes wonder where they come from or how they are made. So let me show you just a small theme in, say, C minor, and then I'll explain it to you and I'll explain flow. Here we go. All right, let's talk about what we did there. In my left hand, I'm playing a C minor 11. Then I'm playing a passing chord, a B flat diminished over C. Then I'm playing an F minor 9. Then I'm playing another passing chord, a B diminished chord over a G. So if I were to break it down slowly, I'm holding my pedal while I'm doing all of this, and I'm going. I'll do it again. And in my right hand, I'm doing this. So let's put those two together in time. Again. Let's put those two together in time. All right. Sorry. So that's just a matter of flow. And a lot of times when you hear things like that, it's just improvisation. So what I did was I did that same change that we did earlier. D minor 11, did a passing chord, I did a B diminished over G. Or I can play just single lines here. And the proper application for this is a lot of times in a church service, if the worship is really high, you can play something like that. It doesn't have to be that busy. I'm just giving you an application. Let's go to B flat minor. And we'll play B flat minor and F sharp major 7, which is actually the same chord. All right? That's something that you can practice, especially in a high worship time. And it can be even simpler than that. And I'm just using melody lines. So I'm starting to incorporate all the things we've done. The two diminished chords. Arpeggios. Let's talk about practicing procedures. There have been a lot of questions about that. And let's get something. Let's agree on something. That practicing and rehearsing are two different things. You rehearse what you know, and those are things that you go over, and those are things that you know that you're perfecting. When you practice, you are doing something that you don't know or something that you're weak at. And in your free time, you really should practice whatever your weaknesses are. Take a moment and look at yourself and where you are and find out what your weakness is. And in your practice time, that's what you work on. I just want to go through certain procedures of practicing. The first thing I try to practice are my scales with both hands. So I don't want to spend too much time on that. We have those scales in the Scales and Chords video. But just as an example. Now, you probably shouldn't practice it that fast. Those are one of the things that I practice. I also practice my arpeggios and my timing. That's another thing that you can practice. So a lot of times it's good to use a click track to do that. So let's set up a click track right now and practice with it. That's a little fast for practicing. And the ideal in practicing is to practice so that certain things come natural to you and you don't have to force them. And once you don't have to force them and they're natural, then you work on speed. Another thing to practice is, another thing to practice is it's always best to practice on a weighted piano. And when you practice everything two ways. Practice things staccato and legato. What I mean by that is short and long. So we would practice like this. For flow. And for technique, we would do staccato. Also, I practice transposing. A lot of times we find it hard to play in some keys. So I'll take one chord that I like. Let's go with that B flat minor 11. And what I'll do is I'll play it and I'll just drop it down in every key. And then I'll bring it up. Especially those chords that are kind of hard to reach, because the reach is different in every key. And then after I do that, I'll do whole tones. once you get those fast enough, you want to be able to control it. So what I mean by that is, then you practice diminish. And I'll show you how that works. Same chord. B flat, D flat, E, G. Then I'll practice a scale. After you stretch your hands about 2 or 3 of those, you go feel some pain. But that's a good thing. So what I'll do is, after that, let's suppose my difficult key is B, but I can play well in C. So I'll play, and what I'm doing is a B flat chord, B flat, F, B flat, D, G, A, F, A, C, F. And I'll do that in G. G, D, F, B flat, C, D, F. All right, if I can't automatically go so I'll take my B flat chord and I'll lift everything a half step. Then I'll take my second chord and I'll lift that a half step. I'll take my last chord and lift it. Then I'll try it in every key. And the other thing is, when I learn a lick or a pattern, I try to learn it in every key so that that can reinforce what you do. Sometimes we learn something and we don't dig down and get what we learned deep enough in order for us to remember it. So you might hear somebody who you like play something that you think is nice, and you might learn it in one key, but you might not apply it, or you might not apply it in other keys. So for example, here's a 2-5-1 change. I think we've done that before. G minor flat 5, G, F, F, B flat, D flat, C, E, E, A flat, C, F, C, C, G, B flat, and then the same chord, we move the G and the B flat down to F and B flat. And I just randomly picked keys, but if I were going to do that pattern to practice it, I would do it. And I would probably go up. And whenever you practice, it's good to break up things in small parts. So don't try to learn or do a whole phrase new. Maybe just try 2 chords, maybe just 3 chords. And I want to share one more thing with you. A lot of times, we as musicians who work in a church setting, we have to learn a lot of material a lot of times really fast. And when I listen to things, I have a certain method that I use to learn songs. The first thing I do is I break each song up into sections. So I might just learn the verse and then learn the chorus and then learn the vamp, or however the song is structured. But in those learnings, there are certain things that I look for first. The first thing I look for is the bass line. My bass line is probably the easiest thing to find in a song, and it's going to establish One, what key you're in, what the notes are, what the changes are, what the rhythm for the changes are. And then I listen for the chord, and I listen for the third of the chord to tell if it's major or minor. So if I'm listening to an F and I hear that note, no matter how complex the chord is, I know that that's an F major chord. So no matter how complex the chord is, if I listen for my third. If I hear this instead of that, I know it's minor, no matter how complex the chord is. As long as I'm hearing that, I know it's major or minor. And then I listen closely for other harmonies that will help me determine exactly what the chord is. Then I listen to what the choir parts are. That'll tell me a little closer what the chords are. Usually in a recording, the chords of the organist or pianist follow whatever the choir is singing. And then I listen to auxiliary instruments. Again, I'll say I listen to the bass line. I listen to the third of the chord to tell whether it's major or minor. Then I listen to the intricacies of the chord. If I can't find that, then I'll route my listening to whatever the choir is doing. And then the auxiliary instruments, the horns, the guitars, or whatever, to kind of guide me on where this song or where the changes are going. But usually it's a slow process. And we hope that you can bear with yourself and go through the process so that you can become a greater musician. All right, I've been commissioned and commanded to give away a lot of shout secrets. Okay, here we go. One thing we have to remember when we play a shout is that we want to use our tritones. And our tritones are just a third and a seventh, or flattest seven of what we're doing. So if we're playing a C note, E and B flat would be our tritone. If we're playing a D flat, F and B, and so on and so on. The real secret is rhythm. And in your practice time, practice your rhythm of your shout. Play your shout slowly and practice on what you think you might do. I'll give away a couple of tricks and then we'll kind of put them into context. All right, there's our click track. We'll go on our concert gospel key A flat. So if we're here, if we're 1, 2, 3. Let me show you that. I'm playing A flat with this hand. And I'm playing F, E flat with the other hand. All right. And a lot of times in gospel music, we love to hear that tritone harmony. So same rhythm. Let's try with the click track. 1, 2, 3. All right. Let's see. What else can we give away? Here's a good one. You hold A flat and you play D flat, B, D flat, E flat, D flat, B, D flat, E flat, B. But you're going to slide to the E flat. Or you can substitute it with a D. Or, all right, and you have, and in your left hand, you're basically going to play the tritones of whatever the note is. So let's start this thing off kind of slow. All right, here we go. Let's try a few. The bass is playing C, D flat, D, E flat, C, D flat, D, E flat, and it's walking it back down. So whatever your bass or your bass player is doing, you follow that. And I'm just playing the tritones. We can break it up. We can keep rhythm. All right, let's try some of our right hand tricks. I'm doubling up. Let's add an A flat. Let's put them together. All right, let me show you that one. All right. I'm not playing the bass, but my bass is suggested by the bass player. E flat, we play our tritone. F sharp, B, C. So the bass is going E flat, D, D flat, B, C. So we follow it. And I just play one chord and I walk everything down, which is why it's necessary to practice. And instead of the tritone, I play a diminish with a minor. F, A flat, B, D, A flat, D, B, D, F, A flat. And my E flat minor chord is G flat, B flat, D flat, F, B flat, D flat, F, A flat. All right? So let's try that. We can try different rhythms. All I'm doing is B, A flat, F. keep rhythm with my left hand. Ba, 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 da, Adam. So it's just rhythm. I'm playing an A flat chord, and I'm just playing a D grace note. So those just are some of the things you can do in the shout. And remember, those are just some things that I do. And these are ideas for you to create your own ideas and to create your own style. All right, let's pick up the pace a little bit. So that was kind of a warm up. Let's go to B flat. So here we're doing a shout. And I believe we've gone over this before. B flat, D, E flat, E, F, G, A flat, A, B flat. All right. And at the end of the 4-bar measure, we play a C, F, B flat. So in turn, we'll play our tritone that goes with the C, which is E and B flat. Our tritone that goes with the F, which is E flat and A. And our tritone that goes with B flat, which is D and A flat. And we'll use our tritones in rhythm. All right. This shout, let me show you another shout lick. Again, we have that tritone harmony. D flat, B flat, G, F. And we're just playing with a rhythm, all right? And we can flip that. G, F, G, B flat, G, F, G, B flat, G, F, G, B flat. Same rhythm, 3 different notes, G, B flat, and C. All right, and then we can go B flat, D flat. And we'll do all of those things while we're playing tritones. The only thing I'm doing is playing tritones. And a lot of times I'll separate them. And then sometimes I'll just mix some minor chords in my left hand, in my right hand, over top of my tritones. F, B flat, C, E flat, G, C, D flat, F, B flat. And I'm basically playing 2 chords, C minor, B flat minor. And once we start, you'll realize that I'm just using my rhythm. And a lot of it is just a matter of working on rhythm. So, okay, let's run this track and see what we come up with. simple arpeggio. A lot of times if a chord is not working for you, try the same thing in an arpeggio. That line is D flat, D, F, G, B flat. Try it slow. Breaking my chords up. All right, here's another lick that's a little complicated, but I think you can get it. Let me show you the lick without the harmony. E flat, F. All right, here's the lick without the harmony. E flat, F, D flat, B flat, G, F. E flat, F, D flat, B flat, G, F. Let's try with the rhythm. And I'm interchanging between those two licks. We showed you that lick earlier. And let me show you some of the chords that I played. For the C chord, E, B flat, E flat, A flat. And for the F chord, E flat, A flat, A, D flat, F, A flat. For the B flat, we're playing a D, A flat, C, D, E, G, B flat. And a lot of the things I'm doing, I'm just interchanging. And I was breaking up my chords. So let's do it again. I was breaking up my chords. I'm playing my first tritone, then my second tritone, and then back to my first tritone. In my right hand, I'm breaking up my B flat and C minor chords. So in rhythm, it sounds like this. And in my left hand, I'm going. Let's put them together. Now we can be silly and put the arpeggio with the breakup of the fourth. Let's see if breakup of the tritones. Let's see if we can do it. Let's try it. So those are just a few of the things that you can try. Hopefully that gives you a launching pad so that you can do something that I've never done on a piano. And the way that I do things is just one way, and I like to share it with you and just share some of the secrets that some of the big guys won't share. And hopefully we can all be better by this. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about open and closed chords. And I'm going to work strictly with a minor 11th chord. Let's do it with B flat. In your left hand you have B flat, F, A flat. In your right hand we're going to have C, D flat, E flat. For those of you who don't like to stretch, put the A flat in your right hand, and your left hand to take care of B flat and F. This is an 11th chord, and we call it closed because the notes are very close together. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this note, or this chord, and we're just going to move it. We're going to move everything up a fourth. To E flat minor 11th. Then we're going to move it down to C. And we're playing what's called parallel chords. And I use these closed chords when, for example, if the mood is kind of quiet and maybe there's somebody talking. So if you wanted to think about applications, you can use them in that way. And it's all the same chord. And all I did there was I arpeggiated the right hand portion of the chord. A flat, C, D flat, E flat, A flat, C, D flat, E flat, and so on. All right, let's look at the same chord a little more open. We'll play it like this. All right, so this configuration would be B flat, F, A flat. You have to keep all of this in your left hand now. And you would play in your right hand, D flat, F, A flat, and C. I think that's how most of us are used to seeing it. Okay, let's stop playing and open this thing all the way up. B flat and D flat all the way on the opposite end. And we'll play the same chord, B flat minor 11. We'll play it just like we played it before. D flat, F, A flat, C, and E flat. So this is open. Now if you had a bass player or a bass line running, you can double this chord here. And if you're thinking on independence or stride, or you can roll the chord all the way up. Same rule applies. And if you practice parallel chords, you can come up with some really nice patterns. And I'm playing the same chord. All right, now the only other thing that's left is to use our creativity and our sense of choice to decide when to play an open chord or when to play a closed chord. Same chord. All the same chord. So a lot of times we have to decide when we want it open. And I'll give you a suggestion. Use contrast when you decide what you're going to do. So if you're playing a pattern, let's say we have a pattern B flat, E flat, C, F. Now if I decide that I want my E flat minor 11 chord to be open, I'm going to contrast it by playing all of my other chords closed. And I'm just going to kind of lull your ear to sleep with these closed chords. And then I'm going to surprise you with an open chord. And that time I play the F chord open. So a lot of times it's a matter of choice. And then using the other rules that we have, we can arpeggiate this, as we have in our left hand. We just arpeggiate it. And we can arpeggiate it back down. All right, I'll do that slowly. B flat, C, D flat, E flat, A flat, back to E flat, D flat, A flat. The same thing for the other keys. We can do the same thing for the open chords. So a lot of times when we're playing chords and open and closed chords, it's a matter of how we decide we want to play them. So let's start up a little groove in B flat, and the pattern will be B flat, E flat, C, F for the first two bars. The second two bars will be B flat, E flat, C, and then I'll walk down to A. And I'm playing the exact same chord for every one of those. So let's start our rhythm kind of small, and we'll play closed chords. Here we go. Our first chord is B flat. Next chord is E flat. B flat. E flat. C, all minor 11s. F minor 11. B flat. E flat. C. A. So now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make my A chord open so that you can hear the contrast. And the chord wasn't really as big as you heard it, but because of the contrast, it opened everything up for you. Let's try it again. This time I'll roll it down. All right, let's add some more percussion and a rim shot. So let's open these chords up a little bit more. And we'll play this A chord close, just so you can hear the contrast. I'm just using melody lines to lead me. All right, let's add a kick, and let's open these chords all the way up. And we'll still close up the A chord, just for contrast. Close up the A. So now let's mix it up. And I can roll everything. Back to close. I can do both. So hopefully that'll give you some insight on the different things that you can do with actually the same chord. So try not to be discouraged if your chord vocabulary is not where you want it to be. Sometimes you can take the same chords and just kind of open them up a little bit, and it'll give you a whole new sound. So that's something you can start applying immediately.
Well, we'd like to thank Mr. Morgan for coming and sharing
Thank you for having
a
me,
lot
sir.
of that beautiful stuff with us. And I know you're going to be helped, you're going to be blessed, and it's really going to add to your playing. And he's going to get ready to close us out, but we want to say what we always say on every one of our videos. If you really want to play, don't play around.